Here are a few more slides on trends, which are outside the, this now is following on from Gartner. And this is an old one from 2008. And it points out that there's the volume of activity was measured in $100 billion a year in 2008, and it's increasing obviously to much larger than that, and where it estimates here 160 billion by 2011. These numbers are always very difficult to believe because there's so many ways of measuring them. And here we have some of the standard important companies: Salesforce, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, IBM, Akamai, which is the network company delivering content, and EMC and EMC owns VMware, that's storage and virtualization respectively. And of course, Sun got gobbled up by Oracle. Shows how old this slide is. Here we actually look at the priority matrix in particular for cloud computing. Previously, we were looking at the general priority matrix, and this is for 2012. So we see for cloud computing, we have big data, cloud advertising, cloud computing, community clouds, and platform as a service as the 2 to 5 year transformational technologies. Virtualization is the very near term transformational technology. DevOps, which is the way you automate things using technologies like Chef and Puppet to automate deployment, that's a 5 to 10 year out. And they put here real-time infrastructure and hybrid cloud computing in that time frame. So real-time is clearly why that's important. Hybrid means that people are always worried about hybrid versus non-hybrid. I'm not so certain. I'm actually not so convinced that's a great idea, but we will see. The simplicity of one trades off optimization versus simplicity. With hybrid, you can optimize things and get exactly the right environment for a given application, but then you get complexity, which is not obviously the right idea. Now we have the hype cycle. Previously we had the hype cycle for technologies. Now we have the hype cycle for cloud computing. So everything here is clouds. And we can see here that email services like Gmail are very mature. They're delivered by clouds. Advertising is on clouds. We have Salesforce.com illustrating Salesforce optimization, the basic virtualization ideas, and the concept of software as a service are very mature. So we're on the slope of enlightenment, which, if you remember, was more than 5% adoption. Infrastructure as a service is just about to pop out of the trough as is cloud web platforms, and they're going to move into the 5% area. They will survive, clearly, this transition. And up here we have all the other stuff that we need to build clouds with. Cloud bursting, the fact that you can run on one cloud or run on a private machine and jump out to a cloud when you run out of resources is obviously a great idea. And we have all sorts of other things up here. We have big data up here, and so on. Here's what I told you, that actually big data is about to plunge into the delusionment area. Comes from Gartner. And but I point out that everything has to do that according to that curve. If you're going to succeed, you have to plunge down into the trough and then come up again into the slope of enlightenment and the plateau of productivity. And of course, it is hard. Everything is hard. Everything is pretty immature. Hadoop is hardly the world's most mature piece of software. Hadoop is MapReduce, and that's not surprising they're disappointed. But that doesn't mean they're not going to be. That's just going to. I think the promise is so great and the importance is so great. People will just make Hadoop much better, and these disillusionment will disappear. Well, there will probably always be some people unhappy. People are often unhappy, just pathologically. So this is so this just says the field has matured, because by Gartner's Gartner's plot, we're not allowed to avoid this trough. Here we have a hype cycle for actual big data. So previously had the hype cycle for emerging technologies, then the hype cycle for clouds, and now the hype cycle for big data. And we have predictive analytics as mature. We have in-memory analytics. I pointed out an in-memory data grids and things like that, database management systems. I don't quite know what cloud-based grid computing is. There's a bunch of buzzwords joined together, and there's just rather too many topics here to be able to discuss them. But it points out that cloud compute, big data, is built of many components. And actually, the most important I don't quite see here is, well, it has cloud parallel processing that's MapReduce, I think. Yeah, here we have cloud computing. So why cloud computing is here, because I think big data is universally processed by companies on cloud. So I would view that as clearly up in this 5% level, because all the majority of data is in companies. It is not outside companies. And Google, Amazon, Netflix, are all processing their data on clouds. Google has their own resources. Netflix buys services from Amazon. Here we have the priority matrix for big data, and we have no so-called NoSQL databases up here. They're very important. Here we have in-memory databases. They're just saying that how we store on disk and how we store when we're using it, the data is very important. We have cloud computing up here. So we have a lot of nice things here. I would have put data analytics, namely better algorithms, up here. I mean, here we have data scientists. That's disappointing. We're only, because we're all trying to become data scientists, and we're the same as cloud-based grid computing, which I don't think exists. So I hope we exist, and we're going to be transformational, because I hope us data scientists will transform the way the world operates. So I'm optimistic. I will move this up here. Just point out, give us a little humbling. I looked at Google Trends, and here's big data coming up pretty fast. Cloud computing is actually going down a little. Hadoop is going up. Data science is only just starting. It's just, I think it's 0 here and slightly non-zero. It's just starting in 2013. But it's disappointing if we compare it with spinach. To name a random thing, spinach is far more important than any of these other things. So that's disappointing. So although we're all excited about big data and cloud computing and X-Informatics, spinach is more important. So that's life.